Hi there. My name is Reverend Maria Arvanitidis, and won't you join me for the opening of this present that I gifted to myself? And at the beginning of the year, normally I do readings, and I started doing general readings for each month. And these general readings found me with Doreen Virtue Goddess Oracle cards. And at this moment, I am doing some renovations to my basement, and I find myself here. And I just most recently, okay, so this is looking backwards. Anything I do on this laptop. And it's called Beyond Lemuria. Beyond Lemuria Oracle Cards by Izzy Ivy. And why I chose these is because Lemuria has been one of the oldest civilizations, and it was even more ancient in ancient times where Atlanteans existed. The Atlanteans and the Lemurians. It was known that the Lemurians were there first, and then the Atlanteans came and invaded and took over and enslaved, apparently, the Lemurians. And they fought, and, like any other war, and, they took over, and for many years, and then they abused the power that was given to them from the Lemurians. Lemurians were it was a very matriarchal society, and then, like always, one inhabits with the other, and then they don't get along, their differences, their conflicts, their, I respect your perspective, and when I adapt to it and try to see it in the way that I can actually expand and grow. It might not be for me, but at the same time, we have to respect each other, and when we don't, we get into conflict, we get into wars, we get into my God is better than your God, and all these other nonsense things of imagery. We idolize the image that comes out of our imagination. Anyway, I can go on talking, and this is my first time, I just opened it with you, and where I left off, I think, was in May, and because of, I couldn't find my any kind of burning kind of sage or incense, so what I'm going to do instead, in memory of Lemuria, which is very befitting because this is a memorial candle, and everything is there for a reason. And notice, even this, today, I'm wearing a black one, a black jacket. A black and gold, right? Whereas normally I wear a blue one. And so, in memory of Lemuria, and I'm thinking, okay, along with this is just the preview. I also got some dragon cards that I will start exploring with all of you, the public, and I want to give a general reading, and in order to give a really good forecast for the future and from the here and now presence moment, we also have to be accepting and aware of where we came from, our past, in memory, in our soul, just like water and everything else, our field, our holographic field, anything, our souls have memory from ancient times, and even on a cellular level. Everything that's surrounded in a kind of membrane kind of thing, has, like the Akashic records and everything. And today, oh, here we go. And so I'm gonna, this wick right now is split in two. It's like prawns. So, oh my, interesting. So I'm lighting this, and we'll see where that goes. Maybe it needs another light. And so, I have a book here, and I want to explore this thing, Beyond Lemuria Guidebook. And what happened beyond Lemuria, okay, is where we're at now. And whatever happened in the here and now present moment, we not only change the future as we prefer it to be, and what we can accept that we actually deserve, we get. And with that said, when we change in this present moment, the way our perspective, the way we feel, the way we think, our belief, let's say we have an addiction and we quit smoking or something like that. Well, it ripples right to the past, and it even changes the past. Not only changes the past, but in order to change the future, the past must be changed. Because everything is in the here and now moment. And so when we connect, everything's already happened, and there's many variations of it. Everything is already here, and there's many variations of it. So they're all probabilities. And the most probable outcome is what the attention and the focus from the collective, where the headspace is at, it does create. And so when we're brainwashed to think certain things, and this is how, with elections even, they're saying, oh, before they even win, they say we already won. And then they get the public to believe the hype. It's like bluffing. And it happens. Because once everybody starts believing in it, then it becomes truth. And so with that said, we have the same power to change the world in this way on an individual level. And so that's only when we take our power back. And so I got this She of the Lotus. Because when I was saying elections, I don't know, something about elections. Something about elections. So why not delve into this She of the Lotus? And this has nothing to do with the monthly forecast just yet. We haven't started. But She of the Lotus was something to do with me asking, or just talking about the elections. I don't know whose elections, maybe the state, everything is She of the Lotus. Let's see. I haven't looked at this book yet. So when they're saying, oh, well, maybe you should look at it before you start. Well, you know what? This is much more fun. And we have this She of the Lotus in this book. Oh. Preface. Root chakra, ground center. Izzy Pop, the author is Izzy Ivy, is a woman, and trust your innocence, the sound of the universe, the infinite. I thought it was a man who made these cards. She of the Lotus. It sounded like a man's name. So I thought, oh, okay, cool, dude, man. He's like, it turns out it's a woman who's, her picture's even on here. For all of you who want to see. She's done many books about Izzy Ivy, and if you want, you can just look her up. Anyway, She of the Lotus, and this is pertaining to the elections. It just wanted to happen. Shadow work addressing dissonance, seeing downfalls as the flip side of the superpowers, loving yourself back to wholeness. The beautiful lotus that grows from murky waters, disempowering triggers, bringing light into your dark corners. Originally, the title of this oracle deck was going to be The Language of Light. Okay, so she's talking about her book. The fuller spectrum was guided to bring through, also included the shadow. Okay, Lemurians were bringing forth through this work meant I had to experience my shadow. Okay, this is more personal. Divinatory meaning. Take a look at any unconscious patterns that may be running you. Are there elements of yourself you need to take out of the trash, dust off, and reabsorb? Shadows can be painful or tender to the touch. Sensitivity in an area can be a trigger that shows us where we might want to spring clean some of our darker, forgotten, ignored, or hidden corners. Accepting our shadows is the first stage in restoring ourselves to wholeness, in self-love. Peel back the layers where there is shame, guilt, or fear, and bring them into the daylight. Under a loving and compassionate light, they will resolve and re-assimilate so you can re-engage with your superpowers. So, she of the Lotus is when we discard any part of ourselves, we are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Often, our greatest strengths are our greatest weaknesses, and vice versa. When we reject or deny parts of ourselves, we end up feeling hollow and detached. So self-love is a catalyst for transformation. I don't see where she's going with this or what she's trying to say here about it, but as far as I can see is we're embracing whatever it is that's representing us on a governmental level. It's time to for re-election time. We're going to emerge, or whoever it is is going to be us, not someone else that we have elected. So it looks like we are actually going to be our own sovereign governing body individually, and kind of come together from there, because it looks like the shadows have been representing the light. And it's time for the light to come forward and represent itself. And so it's going to be very interesting what happens with the elections, yes. And people, us, might not even take it seriously anymore and really just go about our everyday lives and communities and locally and in this way, and whatever else we got going on a online presence, and just keep going and not really letting the other stuff affect us. So whoever wants to win can win and do whatever they want, but they have no power or effect on us, because they are the shadows and we are the light, and they represent our shadows, not the light. So it's going to be an interesting thing, this Lotus, she of the Lotus. Okay, so this person is more on a like stepping through. Okay, and so I'm just learning this card meanings. Okay. So the card meanings in the dictionary here. Maybe I didn't go. Okay, so she of the Lotus might be here. Again, there might be something else on She of the Lotus. Yes, I see it. No, this is another lumen. So that's what I kind of, and if I find card meanings, okay, and if I find it again, we can maybe get a better thing of why is it She of the Lotus. Shadow work addressing dissonance, seeing downfalls as the flip side of superpowers. Loving yourself back to wholeness. So we're going to have to stand up and or actualize, kind of wake up and become whole again. The beautiful lotus that grows from murky waters. This is us. This is our society. And the disempowerment that we have felt is triggering and bringing light into the darkest of our corners. And so that's all really that needs to be said about that. And then we can move on after 16 minutes of that. And so let's continue on and see what we're going to get for, why don't I just start, see what we're going to get for the following months, like, you know, for the month of August. And so for the month of August is nature, nurture, nature, earth. And then for the month of for the month of September, we get the water, the overflow. And then I'm just mixing them on the floor, like, you know what? Because and so for the month of October, shine your light. Okay. And so for the month of November, Starseed Elemental. So this was already discussed, you know. So we got August. So we can go like this. August, September, October, November, and December. Starseer, number 46. And let's just kind of rough it. What do we have for August is Earth, number 14, nurture. So it's numbered. Nurture nature. This is for the month of August. Looking after the planet, the ebb and flow of life, the loving embrace of Mother Nature, the natural beauty of death and decay, the microcosm, time in nature, ancestors, growth through weathering storms, nurturing self and heart so you may flourish. So we've come out of, what a thing, we've come out of this COVID, and now we're out, and now we're going to be into the new moon, which is on the 28th of July. And today is the 24th of July. And so the moon in Leo, the heart, we're looking at the heart, and the solar gate is already opened for a certain time length, and now's the time to become empowered, to feed from the sun and the photonic light, and just let it nurture us like the neutrinos that come from all the stardust and the galactics that we take in, that go in, they're supposed to go into our soil, and we're supposed to grow things and eat and nourish our bodies, feed ourselves, the mana. This card here is telling us to start looking after our health and start to nurture nature, earth, and really bond and connect, because we've been so disconnected from the physical, and this is it. It's technology has tried to disconnect us from everything and then reconnect us back again into the way that they can. Who's they? Uh, the powers that be that we give into, that create this power to control us, instead of us being responsible for ourselves and be in control of ourselves and be mindful and all these things. And this month, August, never mind the World Health Organization, why not organize our own self-governance from within and connect with nature? That's the world, nature, that we can experience and connect with. And so that's what it's telling us to do. And whatever other things that are in the background trying to work their way and do in their demise and all these things, we can just, look after ourselves, because we have to look after ourselves so that then we're able to help others first and foremost. When we're not able to look after ourselves, how can we look after anybody else? And so no one can hold us the way nature can. Mama Nature is a powerful healer and transmuter of dense energies we may be holding on to. And so just as she takes in our out breath and returns our bones to fertile soil, so too can she transform our woes if we can allow ourselves to surrender to lie in her grassy arms or be embraced by her branches, just as plastics and oils cannot be broken down in the earth for renewal. When our emotions become hardened and impenetrable, catalyzed into something more destructive, they cannot be transformed into the compost that we grow from. And, we're not computers. We're biological entities. And it's time to get back into nature. And August is giving us that breakthrough, that gateway that we must. This is the splitting of the worlds. And what do you choose? And so death and rebirth are part of the natural cycle that allows for the continuation of life, creating something through suppression and control that will not break down, will only bring us further out of harmony. Nature is all around us. Notice her and know that when you feel like no one else can hold you, she can. Spend as much time in nature as possible and do what you can to preserve it. And themes: grounding, finding our roots, reliability, physical healing, nurture, solid foundations, fertility, vitality. And that's it, folks. That's the month of August. The earth. And then let's go into the month of September. Water, the overflow. Water, the overflow. Abundance for the month of September. Non-attachment, the paradigm of no scarcity, allowing financial and energetic gifts to flow through and create more. So, during one of my she's going into her things now, experiences, and that's already been, right? So the being in the picture has many hands, and yet still the water is allowing to fall through her fingers. It blesses her in the moments it touches her radiant skin and then continues on its journey. Her heart is also overflowing with love. Her eyes are filled with tears. She allows what comes through to move her without control. She gracefully allows whatever she is feeling to be expressed, and as she does so, she radiates so much light into the world. And the themes: allowing for flow, receptivity, the path of least resistance, purity, clearing away that which no longer serves emotion. That's beautiful, eh? And so that is for the month of September. And now we go into October. Shine your light, number 44. Okay, shine your light. Number 44. Yeah, it's number 44. Fucking 44. And so, shine your light, doing what you love for the month of October. Time to thrive, giving from the overflow. Life, purpose, being authentically you, compassionate, self-empowerment, loving life, trying things you resonate with, bringing joy to others by being an inspiration. And you are amazing. There is no one like you, and no one can do you as you can. Yet, we sometimes feel that we need to be a certain way, a way not aligned with our authentic self. You may feel obliged to be something or someone. You may have stopped doing some of the things you loved due to time or energy restraints, that meaning money, not having the time or not having the money. When you take time to do what truly makes you shine each day, you will light up and bring joy to other people's worlds. That sense of achievement, every little thing that you accomplish throughout the day. So just do it. As you go about your life, you will have a sense of purpose and feel naturally inspired to fulfill your responsibilities. You will also have more energy and love to overflow. Doing what we love can bring so much goodness to our hearts that it filters into other areas of our life. Yet when life is demanding more of us, we give up the things we love to make way for more practical pursuits. When we finally come back to these pursuits, we wonder why we waited. And so for much of her life. Okay, so let's go on. It takes discipline to do what we love, especially if we are natural givers. It is easy to get caught up with other people's lives and dramas, and then can also be a strong cultural belief that fulfilling a creative need is selfish. The irony here is that tending to our own needs harm none, and we will have a lot more to give. It is time for us to collect our light and shift the vibration here on earth, starting with our inner sense of being. Try those things you have always wanted to explore, weave enjoyment through your day-to-day experience. Find purpose and the inspiration to spring out of bed in the morning. It is time to thrive. Month of October. And Divinatory meaning, where can you shine your light? When you have a purpose, you will also have limitless energy and no joy. And you will be able to know joy. Where can you grow enthusiasm in your life? Consider how you can be more aligned with your passions so you can harness your light. It may be time to return to something you enjoyed but stopped doing for no good reason. You are a sovereign being. Reign, compassionate. Regain compassionate empowerment and remember what lights up your world. That's perfect. And that's for the month of October. Shine, shine, shine your light. And now we go into the month of November. 45. Starseed Elemental. 45. Starseed Elemental. Children as teachers. Fun, light-heartedness, joy, laughter, newly incarnated souls, the child within, maintaining an inquisitive perspective, wonder, and imagination. Or maybe this is the time for the elections. I don't know if the American elections or whatever else we're electing. I don't know. It's a starseed elemental. It's a new beginning here, and November is the last. It's like a transformational thing, from physical to, it's I see it as a transformational month. So being with children can be a great way to recapture wonder, innocence, and apologetic truth and wisdom. Their realities are not yet muddied by shoulds or cannots, and their imaginations are often so wild and creative that they can be our biggest inspirers. Furthermore, it's saying for the month of November just to look at the children. Look at the maybe even the lesser evolved children, the ones that we elect to represent us, children. Why do we see them as bad and not see them as children? Because they're just lesser evolved. And so their realities might be, muddied in all these things, but they don't really, once the light hits, you see them as what they are, lesser evolved. They're children. They're not really responsible for what they do. And so, furthermore, as their incarnation from pure spirit is more recent, they are still aware of energy and have a natural psychic awareness. We all have the capability of this psychic awareness and our energy. And so it kind of makes me wonder. This is really good. It really, she of the Lotus and Starseed Elemental kind of almost go together. Interesting. Because when we clear the shadows, then you see the lesser evolved, lesser formed things that are like childlike. Like, you see? And so, are they really bad? Or are they just irresponsible and children? They're just children. And so, sometimes adulting can become too serious. When this happens, bringing a childlike, light-hearted sense of play to your perspective can be the most productive way to balance. Facing challenging circumstances with inquisitiveness can bring joy to whatever we are accomplishing. Imagine stepping into a child's shoes and seeing how they perceive the world. If you have a problem, consider how a child might solve it. And you wonder, people with Alzheimer's, and we make fun of Biden and all these things. Well, maybe sometimes that's what happens to naughty children. And they lose everything that was anything. It's like catharsism. And then it's like whatever's left of them is very childlike. And perhaps maybe very dependent and needing to be taken care of because, of all the things they've done. And I kind of question about the incarnations of animals too sometimes, how they're become our pets rather than our friends or at our own level. And every species and every, everything. And species, race, everything is just so equally important to the tapestry of things. And it's all to do with how we perceive and how our perspective is allowing us to perceive things and how we respond in the decisions we make. Furthermore, how we collaboratively engage with each other and what we allow to give our power to and what we actually, hey, we have to become responsible and perhaps, why are we letting the children of that situation like Biden rule the country? Okay, I'm a Canadian, but then you look at Trudeau. Who is the son or the child of, right? Anyway, I just thought there was like a little bit of a connection there. Maybe I'm taking it too much. So we can make a difference, not collectively, but I'm saying that on an individual level, we can make a big difference to the collective in this clearing, in this whatever it is. And so this is a general reading it's supposed to be. And so you can take it however you resonate with it, and be inquisitive is what it's saying, and imagine stepping into a child's shoes and perceive the world like, wow, larger than life, seeing things for the first time. It's like being locked up, like COVID, right? And then coming out of your, captivity or your incarceration from being in prison of the mind, even, whatever it might be. And then you just all of a sudden, wow, and you appreciate and you're more grateful of things, and you're not taking things for granted as you might have before. So it really does make a difference. Think back to when you were all these things, and it's the similar as a little and what you loved to do when you were younger. Remember how the world felt around you and how magical and mysterious things may have been? Throughout the summer, throughout your year, now that we've been let out back into the wild? And what has changed now that we're back inside? November? And for those living in the northern hemisphere, for those in the southern hemisphere, well, take it like this. Think back to when you were a child and the magical and mysterious things that may have been. What has changed? What would you tell your own inner child, your 7-year-old? Because it's up to 7 years that the root chakra, when you're first starting out. And yes, our realities do change the moment our blood changes. And so the little people of today will be the inventors, creators, and leaders of tomorrow, which I just explained from a different perspective to perceive and how you want to see things. How can we help nourish their big souls, or even little ones, to ready them for an optimal journey through life? Right now, powerful souls are incarnating on Earth to help with the progression of this planet. All children are equally special, but some may have different or unique needs due to their more sensitive and energetic natures. The ways children were brought up in previous generations may not be the best options for today. But humans are evolving, and children can be our wisest teachers. May we listen to them with our hearts and let their ways unveil fresh new eyes so we may see a whole new world. So, how do you see this as a child? How does your inner child feel about all of this that I just read? And the meaning of this card, Starseed Elemental, bring a sense of play, lightness, or spontaneity to your life. Be inspired by children or your inner child. You are encouraged to add inquisitiveness, fun, and laughter to your reality. This card may signify the presence of a child in your life or your inner child, your God creator being child. Spending time with that child, your inner child even, will help you experience the world from a fresh perspective and see them as the inspiring teachers they are. Master and student. Yes, this is all about inner child work. November. And it is found in the navel sacral chakra area. Yes. And so, it's very November. Oh, I love it. And so, let's go into the Starseer for the month of December. We get Starseer. Listen to your intuition. Trust the holistic journey dreams, finding their way into being, the bigger picture, a more aligned outcome than expected, clarity of the greater path, month of December. Have you ever headed toward a specific destination, but instead of it being where you ended up, the journey was the catalyst for getting you where you were meant to go? Have you ever felt the universe was conspiring against you and nothing seemed to be working out as planned, but then everything came together in a way that was so perfect? This card is about the journey, not to going as planned, but the outcome being better than you thought possible, month of December. And have you ever, when we set our dreams and intentions, internal or external shifts may need to occur before we start to see results. So have faith. Outdated doors may need to close. Ideas that are holding you back may need to transform. Life's winding roads may make it seem as though you are off the path. Despite how right your decisions may feel, trust and know that your higher self may have bigger plans for you. There might be some adventures on the way or not. The road you take depends on how ready you are and the distance between your current life and one you are dreaming into being. This card depicts intuition as a goddess. She is lifting you out of the clouds of confusion and mind noise and showing you the clear way forward. She is your higher self and can see your great potential. Trust your instincts and have faith in your dream. You are already on your way. And keep believing in yourself. Trust in your dreams enough to let the serendipities unfold. Let go enough to allow space for unexpected opportunities. Even when the route is not as direct as you imagined, listen to your intuition and know you have got this. And thank you so very much, Starseer. Oh, the month of December. And that concludes 2023. Thank you so very much. And it's been an honor and a blessing to have you all here listening to this, and hopefully it will be one of the greatest guides for you